Hello Wargamers! Today we're going to see Kings of War Vanguard, but I won't be on my own. Today 3 different characters will help me in the discovery if Vanguard is worth buying. You'll see in the review.
Tell me what Vanguard is.
Vanguard is a fantasy skirmish game settled in the world of Mantic, where you and your opponent will take the lead of an elite squad entitled to complete the various different missions and objectives that set into motion greater massive battles. Are you brave enough to capture the egg that in the future will become the dragon mount of your army's general? Will you be able to disrupt the enemy line of supply so they come to battle fatigued and famished? Who's going to secure for themselves the ancient power of the runic stones so that their magic could be the aid needed in the final battle? This and much more is Kings of War Vanguard.
Very interesting. Tell me now.
With 22 factions at your disposal, whether it is going to be a group of abyssal demons, Basilean holy zealots, or violent ogres is entirely up to you. Each race is composed by a big variety of commanders, units, supports, wizards, cavalry, and sometimes even monstrous beasts. And after you're done in choosing how to compose your team, equip them with a great selection of weapons, potions, trinkets, and even magical artifacts.
You have my attention, but I have to say that this game seems nothing new.
Hey, wait a second, there is of course more. Sure, at first glance, Kings of War Vanguard may seem like a game made to arouse the melancholic memories of one such like me, who grew up watching Lord of the Rings, playing D&D, but since we're here for a review, let me explain the details and the mechanics of the game, the classical ones and the originals too. Let's start with the classics. To play the game you'll need an inch ruler, a bunch of tokens to represent the different activations, wounds and different buffs or debuffs which may occur during a match, a bunch of d8s instead of a normal d6, and some special dice called the power dice. You can purchase them on Mantic's website or make them by yourself with some blank dice bought on Amazon, I guess. Each miniature in the game is provided with their stats, and they are melee, ranged, wounds, armor, nerve and height, and of course the points needed to fill them. You'll succeed in every throw more or less of the game if you make more than the stat provided. For example, if you need a 4+ to succeed in a melee, if you made a number between 4 and 8, you succeeded. There is also a special mechanic in the game called the exploding dice. Every time you throw an 8, you gain a critical success and you can add another die to the roll. This continues for every new 8 you may throw. Whoa! On the other hand, a result of 1 is a critical failure. Vanguard is played on a board of 3x3, or 90x90 if you're Italian like me, and it is recommended to use a dense quantity of scenery, as for any respectable skirmish game. The interactions with the board come with the classic cover stat modifier, line of sight, and the difficulty to move our units at full speed. You can even jump, fall or be pushed from an edge, with some magical wind or sometimes with a special rule.
And what about the actual fighting, shooting and magical use?
Every match in the game has its own rounds and activations, and each round will have to activate all of our models by a mechanics of I go, you go. And we may do so with 2 kind of different actions, the short one and the long one. Short actions are the less complicated ones, such as moving, fighting, shooting, or standing up, because sometimes you can be knocked down. Long actions instead are running, charging, racing for impact, and trying to break away from a fight. If you try to disengage the enemy, there is a little chance to be hit, so be careful.
Now that's a lot of damage!
Magic spells can be short or long actions.
Alright. Let's see now the original mechanics of the game. Do they change or interact with the classical ones?
Yes, definitely. There are the power dice, the fatigue management, the nerve tests, and the possibility to retaliate. The power dice are one of the peculiar things from Mantic Wargames. We may already see them in Walking Dead All Out War. At the start of a turn, each player creates his own power pool by tossing the power dice. There are 3 different levels of power dice: the red ones with many blank faces, white that are better, and the blue dice with no blank faces and the best results. We can use the power point during a match as a currency to do a variety of things.
Seems intriguing. Give me more details.
For example, you can buy additional dice, activate more models that normally will be possible to do, group actions such as assaults with many soldiers, or bracing for impact with a group of shields, or even if you're an elf, you'll be particularly happy to make a group shooting phase because it's highly effective. Yeah, but this does not end here, because you can use power points to activate the different spells, magical skills, or factions abilities that all the armies have. The last thing you can do with power points is to clear fatigue or force fatigue. But let me explain you what fatigue is. By making a model fatigued, you can add another short action to his activation. But be careful, because it cannot be a repeat of an action you already did this turn. For example, you could charge an enemy, kill him, and then shoot to another one by using the fatigue.
And what if I'd like to make the same action again? Is it possible?
Yes, it is possible, of course, but with a special action.
Nice.
By spending power points with force fatigue, we can make the same short action we already did during the turn. Isn't this awesome?
But the final effort of a warrior, the most important shoot on an enemy, always comes at a price. There has to be a downside to fatigue.
Sadly, there is. The downside to being fatigued is that you can only make a short action during your next activation, and you are unable to retaliate also. That's when clearing fatigue with power points comes really handy. But if you don't want to spend power points, you can also wait the end of the next round and you'll be completely fine.
I'm starting to enjoy it. Tell me about Retaliate.
Sometimes vengeance can be sweet, especially if done right on the spot. If one of your models engaged by an enemy survives the attack, he can be fatigued to retaliate on the enemy.
NANI?!
Pause the enemy's turn for a moment and make a melee attack. This makes Vanguard a highly dynamic game, where you have constantly to watch over the fight, watching at what is going to happen next.
Vanguard may seem a simple game in its mechanics, but if you take in consideration all it has to offer, it can be very deep and complex. Indeed.
There are 28 different special rules, like the ability to fly, to parry a blow, to breathe fire, 28 equipment pieces which add more rules to your units, and 28 different spells for any of your magical needs. Sum up all of this with 12 different scenarios you can play and 22 factions at your disposal, and you'll have lots and lots of fun. There is already an expansion.
But is there a way to play with my companions in a continuative way? Like starting from scratch an epic and glorious campaign?
In the final part of the rulebook there is a detailed section which explains how to link Kings of War to Vanguard by making a beautiful and engaging multiplayer campaign.
Yeah, boy.
You'll have to manage resources, guide your warband in the exploration of unknown adventures and dungeons, give them titles, jobs to do, promote or demote if necessary your leader or other units, and earn a lot of gold and experience.
Okay, you convinced me, but what about the comfort of playing? You know, I have already so many spells to learn that I cannot keep up.
Take it easy, my friend, because Vanguard is a game easy to play but difficult to master. So it is up to you to decide at which level engage the game. You are completely free to use any model of your collections if you want, but there is also a huge selection on Mantic's website where you can purchase the different warbands. For example, I used my personal collections of Saga miniatures from Gripping Beast to make my Kingdom of Man squad. There is also an Ogre from Reaper miniatures. Or my Elven warband is entirely made from Lord of the Rings miniatures. But I have also the lovely Abyssal Dwarfs from Mantic. If you want to know more, check my unboxing video right here. Okay, so let's sum up. My personal impression of the game is that it is really good up to the point. It's balanced, easy to learn, but since I don't like games which are too easy, as you may know from my Zona Alpha review. I played it a little bit on Tabletop Simulator, and I discovered that it can be really complex and intriguing because of all this wide variety and range of different things you can do. If you get bored by your combos, you can always change faction. Not many other wargames have such a huge selection of armies, and for me it's really good.
Good job!
If I have to find an issue, it is a more graphical one, which I hope Mantic will solve. I would have liked to see more pictures to identify the different roles of the various units which are provided inside the manual. So, what are you waiting for? Download the free rules on the website, try the game and join our community on Facebook. There is a huge group called Kings of War Vanguard Fanatics. Let me know in the comments which faction you play and if you like the review. Remember also to press like if you like the video, of course, and subscribe to the channel. I'd like to reach 100 subscribers as soon as possible. I'll do video reviews of many different wargames once a week, so stay tuned for the next one.